All of the tools seen here can be found at a local hardware store. They can also be found in the Yamaha toolkit, which could be picked up at a local motorcycle shop or Yamaha dealer. This is a tool called a security torque wrench. It's size 40 and you will need it to remove one of the rear shocks. This is a motorcycle lift I picked up on Amazon.com. You could see I'm placing it under the bike so I could lift it safely. You might want to use straps if you're paranoid about the bike falling. And as always, just keep the kickstand up just in case while you're working, in case of any accidents happen. Here you can start using your tools to remove the left-hand rear shock, and you're also going to need that torque wrench that I mentioned previously in the video. Make sure you keep your pieces organized and properly in place so you don't lose them for reassembly. This is that torque wrench I mentioned in the past. Again, it's size 40. After you unscrew the torque security bolt, just slowly take off the rear shock. You don't want to break this. After the rear shock is removed, you could remove the 3 covers that protect the belt. This is what the bike should look like now. Do remember to keep all of your washers, nuts, and bolts organized with the piece so you don't confuse them. A tip from me to you, if you could avoid removing the engine pulley, I would definitely recommend that, and just loosen the rear tire enough forward so you could just put it on, so you could just put the belt on that way. I personally went along with moving the rear pulley because there was a period of time where there was not a belt on it, so there was a little bit of rust in the pulley that I wanted to clean out before putting the new belt on. All I'm going to say is that it was a very hard thing to remove. The bolt was Loctited on and it was very, very tight. Again, if you could avoid doing this, I would definitely do it. But if not, just have some WD-40 ready and have a actual wrench, not a vice grip, to remove it so you don't destroy the bolt. The speedometer sensor is attached onto the pulley, preventing you from pulling the pulley out. You will need to loosen up the speedometer sensor a little bit. You don't have to remove it, you just have to loosen it up so you're able to remove the pulley. This is what the speedometer sensor looks like. Now for the actual installation of the new drive belt, you're going to need to loosen up the adjuster bolt on the left side of the rear wheel. And then you're going to want to put the pulley back on as you see me doing. When you put that nut back on, make sure you lock tight the nut on so it doesn't possibly come loose in the future prematurely. Now would be the time to put the speedometer back in. After the belt is installed, make sure there is 5 to 7 millimeters of give in the belt. You do not want this to be super tight because it could put more wear and tear on the belt, and you also don't want it to be loose or else it could possibly slip off. Now is the time to put those 3 belt covers back on. After you put these covers on, you're pretty much done with the belt install. Just make sure that wheel is balanced by adjusting the 2 adjuster bolts on the back to make sure that back wheel is balanced. You don't want any accidents happening on the highway, so I recommend making sure, triple checking that all of the bolts are locked in tight and to put Loctite on everything. If you made it this far, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. If you have any comments, leave it in the comment section below.